You're going to hear from the same old tired playbook, a bunch of lies.
She has no policy. She's going to my philosophy now. In fact, I was going to send her a MAGA hat.
The mics are down, the stage is dark, but people across the country still reacting to the first presidential debate between Republican candidate and former President Trump against Vice President and Democratic candidate Kamala Harris. Both candidates talked on a number of topics, from abortion all the way to immigration.
And one major topic people were waiting to hear about, of course, was the economy. The former president spoke on the economy during the Biden administration, while Harris discussed her plans for the future.
Look, we've had a terrible economy because inflation which is really known as a country buster. It breaks up countries. We have inflation like very few people have ever seen before.
I love our small businesses. My plan is to give a $50,000 tax deduction to startup small businesses, knowing they are part of the backbone of America's economy. My opponent, on the other hand, his plan is to do what he has done before, which is to provide a tax cut for billionaires and big corporations.
Overall, experts say both candidates had different roles in last night's event.
And we spoke with Dr. Susan Roberts, a professor at Davidson College, about the impact both candidates made during the debate.
Trump had to defend himself, or was kind of goaded into that, and she needed to define herself. I think she did just enough of that, but she didn't go on to give a lot of details. I think Trump was very good at hiding his emotions and stoic in his body, but then he unraveled in terms of more expression.
Dr. Chris Cooper, professor at Western Carolina University, no stranger to our show. We spoke yesterday preparing for last night, and now you had a chance to stay up late and watch it. First of all, Chris, thanks for being on with us this morning. We appreciate it, as always.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I've got some bags under my eyes, but I'm ready to go this morning.
We all do, right? We tried to watch as much as we could before getting up early. So you just heard a little soundbite snippet from Dr. Roberts earlier. She said Trump defended, Harris defined. What was your take on last night from both positions, both Trump and Harris?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really a policy-heavy debate, obviously. This was really, I think, as Dr. Roberts said, about defining who each candidate is, right? Trump trying to define himself, but also Harris, and of course, vice versa. It was definitely a better night in the end for Harris than it was for Trump. I mean, from my perspective anyway, and from other folks that I've been reading and talking to, it seems like Harris spent a lot of time sort of putting bait out, and Trump took the bait every single time. It seemed like she was kind of leading the agenda the whole night, with Trump kind of following along.
Dr. Cooper, I think you hit the nail on the head there with several attempts to talk about attendance to rallies and things like that. Trump did take the bait there. Of course, we've asked the same question to Dr. Roberts, but I want to ask it to you. This election is going to come down to undecided voters. Kamala made her case there. Trump kind of defended what he's about, but kind of gave the same old thing of who he is. Who made the best case to these undecided voters last night?
I think Kamala Harris made the best case to undecided voters last night. That is not the same as saying I think Kamala Harris will necessarily win this election, or that it's going to be, an election-changing moment. But last night, I don't think there's any question that Harris did a better job making that case. She did not take the bait. Trump did take the bait. The moment where Trump started talking about people eating dogs in Springfield, Ohio, seems like something cut right out of The Simpsons, but it was actually cut out of last night's debate. And I think the more he leaned in to conspiracy theories like that are just not true, the worse it was for undecided voters.
I think no matter, for those that are decided, that were decided before they ever went into the debate last night, probably will not change their mind between now and November, but there were some cringe-worthy moments for everyone watching, right, no matter which candidate you support. If you are on the campaign staff, right, we don't know if we're going to have another debate, right? This could have been a one and done as of last night. What do you tell each candidate between now and November? What's the message to get out there? If they didn't do as well as they should have, how do you polish it up between now and November to kind of try to bring them back in?
Yeah, I mean, for Harris, I think it is do more of the same, right? She overperformed what I certainly expected, what a lot of people expected. I think for her, just keep doing what you're doing. For Trump, he just has to not lean into the narcissistic stuff, right? I mean, he has to not take the bait on crowd size. He has to not talk about people eating dogs, which isn't happening in Springfield, Ohio. He needs to not talk about those issues. He needs to talk about the border. He needs to talk about the economy. He needs to stay focused. He needs to not talk about January 6th. He needs to not talk about the 2020 election. He needs to be out looking forward, focusing on the issues where he's closer to the American people than Harris, that would be the Biden, that would be the border, and that would also, to some degree, be the economy.
Dr. Cooper, two questions that both candidates kind of avoided. Trump on why they did kill that immigration bill at the border security bill. He dodged that one. Kamala kind of dodged the question about, is the economy in a better place than it was 4 years ago? Which candidate do you think has a job to kind of define why they took that stance? Is it Kamala saying this is what happened with the economy over 4 years ago, or is it Trump to say to his people, this is why we killed that border security bill? Who has more explaining to do coming out of last night?
I think they both have some explaining to do on those two issues. I think you outlined that very, very well, right? So for the economy, it's a framing issue, right? So it's about which part of the economy do we pay attention to? Because there are things that are going well and some things that are not going so well, right? And so it's about framing. For things like border security and abortion, those are what I call agenda setting topics, right? Those are ones where one party wants to favor one topic, the other party wants to favor the other. So they're all going to agree. We talk about the economy. It's about the framing and the way we color it. Democrats are going to say abortion, 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 and Republicans are going to say border, border, border.
Chris, Julian and I, neither one of us have ever moderated a presidential debate, so we don't have the experience sitting there like the two did last night. But one of the things that frustrates us that we say every time that we wish we had heard asked is the word how. Every time we heard, well, I've got a plan for this. We're going to make a plan. If I become president, then this. Why is there never a follow-up? Okay, how? You say you're going to have an economy that is hopeful, that for aspirations and the ambitions, or this is my plan for abortion. Why is there never a how? How do you do that? That's what we want to know.
That's exactly what we want to know. I think you guys need to be the ones who moderate the next debate.
I'm not saying that.
But I am saying that, and I want to know the very same thing, right? This was not a policy-heavy conversation last night. It was light on details. That's true for Harris. That's true for Trump. It was about trying to define who they are. I don't think those are the answers the American people really want. They want to know, as you just said very well, how is this going to happen? And frankly, after watching last night, I'm in no better position to understand how either one of those candidates would do things.
Well, then they have to be accountable for it. And so maybe they're not at the place where they want to be held accountable right now. So Dr. Chris Cooper from Western Carolina University, you got a lot of material for your students over the next couple of days, in the next couple of weeks, in the next 53 days, actually, or so. So thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you.